This is 2, over. 2, are you holding any more cars in your area or have any more VIP cars past your location? Over. I am assuming that the cars have all arrived. We are now awaiting Charlie, Juliet.
Hello, hello, hello. During the ceremony, there will be occasions when spectators are expected to stand and remove their hats or salute if they are in uniform. These occasions are shown in italics.
Roger, out.
How's that?
Once we've started, then anytime we thought it would be picked up on the... Once we have started, there's no speaking more or less off the air. Do you understand what I mean?
No. Once you started, okay, you're commenting. You're giving the commentary.
Yeah, what I mean is, if suppose I want to say something to you, would this pick it up? Would it be on all the time, in other words?
It would be,
It would be.
You want to say something to me about what,
Huh?
I mean...
No, what I want to find out is if this was always on.
Yeah, it's usually always on, yeah. You have to be very careful what you say, okay? If you want to say something to me, which is not connected with it,
right,
perhaps you just have to touch me and... Thanks a lot, Maribel. O'clock.
TV workshop to radio, Mr. Best coming over. Yes, okay. How are you doing? Yes, the tool is coming through the radio studio, okay? The level is already. Pastor said that he is trying to get in contact with over.
This?
Okay, thanks very much. Okay, over now.
The idea basically is to follow what you see there, rather than just looking out there, you know. That's why you find that certain people doing television commentaries, they do too much talking, as though they're doing a radio commentary. But in truth and fact, people can see what's going on. You just may have to point out, well, which formation this is by the color of the garb, or this is Admiral this or General that, as the case may be, and the general background to what they're doing, or why they're doing it. You know. A very good afternoon to all of our viewers throughout the Caribbean. This is Tony Cummings speaking to you from the Bridgetown port, where we are about to witness the colourful and spectacular ceremony, Trooping the Colour by the Barbados Regiment, to mark the celebration of the 21st anniversary of independence of Barbados. The original venue for the ceremony of Trooping the Colour, the Garrison Savannah, had to be changed due to the inclemency of the weather. The grounds of the Savannah are waterlogged, which would make it difficult for the troops to manoeuvre with their customary aplomb. Here at the Deepwater Harbour, the extensive tarmac makes it an ideal area for a military parade, regardless of the weather, which at the moment is very overcast and the rain is drizzling. A rather small crowd is here at the port to witness this spectacular ceremony. And for this afternoon's telecast of Trooping the Colour, I have with me Captain Geoffrey Bostic, a gentleman who has spent a number of years with the forces and who will be explaining and commenting on the manoeuvres for your benefit. Welcome to the CBC microphones, Captain Bostic.
Thank you very much, Tony. Good evening, listeners.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, a number of formations have actually marched onto the tarmac here at the Deepwater Harbour, and I'll hand you over to Captain Bostic to describe these preliminary manoeuvres. Captain Bostic.
Thank you. So far, the groundkeepers and markers have been marched onto the parade square by the band and drums of the Barbados Regiment. The groundkeepers are members of the Barbados Cadet Corps under the command of Captain Irvin Boyce. The trumpeters of the Royal Anglian Regiment Band has just sounded the advance, and within a few minutes the guards will march onto the parade square. The cadets on parade have been drawn from several of the island's secondary schools. When independence was attained in 1966, there were only 3 cadet companies in Barbados, based at Harrison College, Lodge, and Combermere. During the late 1970s, the 4th company was introduced at Ellerslie School, and now we have 18 companies here in Barbados. The band on parade, so far the Barbados Regiment Band, is under the directorship of Sergeant David Weatherhead. The drum major is Warrant Officer Class 2 Rodney Beckles, who is the senior drum major on parade today. Very shortly, you should see appearing on the television screen the first of the guards. The band and drums of the Barbados Regiment is 45 strong with a full range of instruments. Its members are by and large former members of the Barbados Cadet Corps. As we see coming onto the parade square, the first of the guards detachment, and this detachment is being marched on by the band of the Royal Anglian Regiment from England. The guards, it's been marched onto the parade square by the parade adjutant, Captain Randolph Strawn. This first guard is the number 4 guard on the parade, and it comes from the Commando Squadron of the Barbados Defense Force. The guard will be commanded later by Captain Sean Reese, and the 2 subaltern officers are Lieutenant Al Walcott and Lieutenant Neville Martindale. Band of the Royal Anglian Regiment, led by Drum Major David Dumbleton. The tune being played by the band at present is Mechanized Infantry by David McBain. Band of the Royal Anglian Regiment, dressed in the scarlet uniform, was based in West Germany and has flown all the way here to Barbados to take part in this ceremony. The Barbados Regiment has affiliate membership with the Royal Anglian Regiment, and so the band is here to take part in this ceremony under the baton of the bandmaster, Warrant Officer Class 1, David McCrum. The band's current strength is 45, and it's primarily based on wind and brass instruments. The number 4 guard is now going into position. The members of the Royal Anglian Band are professional musicians, and many joined the army as junior bandsmen at the age of 16. They do have a role, however, in war, and all the bandsmen are trained as medical orderlies. There goes the drum major leading the band to adopt its position on the parade square. The regimental band provides music for the battalion in all aspects of life, and as such, the band is most important for morale and is a valued and integral part of the battalion.
Captain, in the event of a conflict, do the men of do the bandsmen actually fight, or they're just there as musicians, or what? Do they actually participate in battle?
If there's a conflict, the bandsmen will perform the roles of medical orderlies, a role for which they have been trained.
Right.
And this is traditional in military establishments. Very shortly we shall see the band of the Royal Barbados Police Force marching one of the other guards onto the parade square.
I understand that the ceremony of trooping of the colour was performed some time ago in Barbados. What was the occasion? Do you know?
I think it was in 1976 when Her Majesty the Queen visited Barbados for the Knighting of Sir Garfield Sobers. The parade was held on the Garrison Savannah.
I understand that our regiment originated as far back as the 17th century. Choosing that seems a long time ago.
Yes, actually the Barbados Regiment traces its roots back to the year 1640 when the first units of the Barbados militia were raised for the defense and protection of Barbados. Here we see the band of the Royal Barbados Police Force. The band is under the directorship of Senior Superintendent Kenrick Moore, who is the director of music for the mass bands on parade this afternoon. Mr. Moore is the third Barbadian to have held the appointment of director of music of the Royal Barbados Police Force Band since the attainment of independence in 1966. He has succeeded Mr. Gordon Lovell, and first after independence, Mr. Prince Cave was the director of music.
From a military standpoint, though, is it better for the troops to be marching on a tarmac than on savannah?
Yes, it is much better to be marching on the tarmac. You are able to dig the heel in, which makes it much easier for drill. The band is currently playing the tune Conciliator, which was written by Prince Cave, the first director of music after independence. This is the guard led at the moment by Second Lieutenant Stanley Mears, and this is one of the guards of the Barbados Regiment. At this point in time, the parade is under the command of the parade adjutant, who will then hand the parade over to the parade second in command, Major V.O. Springer. The guard you are seeing is the number 2 guard, presently under the command of Second Lieutenant Mears. The company sergeant major for this guard is Sergeant Major Foltz, and the company quartermaster sergeant is Victor Pilgrim. These members of the Barbados Regiment are all part-time soldiers who have given freely of their time in order to put on this parade. Number 2 guard has halted and the band will now assume its position on the parade square. Four bands will be on parade this afternoon. We have the Jamaica Military Band, the Royal Anglian Regiment Band, the Royal Barbados Police Force Band, and of course the band of the Barbados Regiment. The last detachment to come on parade will be the escort guard, which will be played on by the band of the Jamaica Defence Force. Today's parade will be commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Lawrence Quinton, MBE, EDJP, the commanding officer of the Barbados Regiment. The Regimental Sergeant Major is Warrant Officer Class 1, RJ Jordan. As the police band adopts its position on the parade square, the band of the Jamaica Defence Force will soon appear. The drum major for the police band today is Station Sergeant Samuel Hunt. There you see the bands bedecked in all their finery. The band of the Barbados Regiment dressed in the spectacular Zouave uniform, the Royal Anglians in their scarlet, and the band of the Royal Barbados Police Force in their lily white tunics. There are several visiting dignitaries here with us this afternoon to witness this parade. And on the right, dressed in the red tunic, is Colonel T.D.G. Lewis of the Jamaica Defence Force. He is the brother of the Chief of Staff of the Barbados Defence Force. We also have a Lieutenant Colonel Chin, the commanding officer of the Reserve Battalion of the Jamaica Defence Force, and Lieutenant Colonel Fitzpan, based in Martinique. Here comes the Jamaica Military Band, also dressed in Zouave, being led by Drum Major Norman Beckles. Regiment and the Jamaican Defence Force is the oldest living remnant of the old West India Regiment, which was disbanded in 1927 after having served in the armed forces of the Empire with distinction over a period of nearly 150 years. There goes Drum Major Beckles and the men of the Jamaica Military Band. The Zouave uniform being worn by the Jamaican band and the Barbados Regiment band, was brought back to the Caribbean by the West India Regiment when it returned from the Ashanti War in Africa. The story is told that Her Majesty Queen Victoria, while attending a military review, saw the uniform worn by a unit of French colonial light infantry from the Zouawa tribe of Algeria. She was so struck by the beauty of the uniform and the tales of these courageous fighters that she commanded the British Army to adopt the uniform for one of her regiments. The honor was conferred on the West India Regiment, which was at that time serving with distinction in Africa. The 3rd Battalion of the regiment paraded at St. Anne's Garrison on its return to Barbados on the 10th of October 1858, dressed in this uniform. The military band was formed in 1927 and operated on a semi-military basis. It was given full civilian status in 1959, but with the advent of independence for Jamaica in 1962, the band became a part of the Jamaica Defence Force. There we see the colors being brought onto the parade square, and the escort led by 2nd Lieutenant Tony Alton. The right guide for the escort is Sergeant Robert Graham. As soon as the guards are in position, the parade adjutant will prepare to hand the parade over to the second in command, Major Owen Springer. Escort consisting of members of the Barbados Regiment. A number of men of the regiment was transferred to full-time service to form the nucleus of the Barbados Defence Force when it was raised in 1979. The part-time Barbados Regiment retained its identity and was cast in the role of reserve infantry of the new Defence Force. Music played by the Jamaican Military Band ranges from symphonies to jazz. The band is always in great demand and has played in Trinidad Trinidad, Canada, Cuba, the USA, and the United Kingdom, to mention a few. For its contribution to Jamaica's musical heritage, he was presented with a certificate of appreciation from the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission in 1986. The band is accompanied by Major Williams, who is the director of music. When the band halts, the adjutant will fall out the junior officers from the guards into line and he will order the warrant and non-commissioned officers commanding guards to the front. The parade adjutant, Captain Randolph Strawn. The parade is being dressed to make sure that the troops are in their correct position.
Captain Bostic, this trooping the color ceremony is quite, goes back some time, I gather. What is the historical background to it, really?
It was the practice in ancient times for the head of a tribe to have carried near to him a unique symbol which was clearly visible at all times. This marked the rallying point for the tribe.
This symbol was, what was it exactly? Some sort of standard?
A standard or flag.
I see.
It is believed that the Egyptians were the first people to carry standards into battle. The practice of trooping the color originated in an old guard mounting ceremony at which the Queen's color was the symbol of the sovereign and the country, and the regimental color the emblem of the soldiers of the regiment. During trooping, Every man has a close view of the colors whilst paying the highest possible honor by presenting arms in salute. The whole ceremony is one of symbolic trust and reverence. The junior officers are now marching off the parade to join the line of officers. The colors are not usually carried except by an officer. This ceremony, however, started with them in charge of a sergeant and 2 sentries guarding them from harm. This is a token of confidence in the men. Later, a subaltern assumes command of the right guard, which is a tribute to youth and a symbol of the responsibility which youth is expected to assume. The parade adjutant is preparing to hand the parade over to the parade second in command. You can see the officers marching onto the passing line before they assume their position on parade.
Officers! Up! Inwards!
This movement is being carried out under the command of the parade second in command, Major Owen Spring.
Aye!
Here we see the warrant and non-commissioned officers commanding the guards going to the front. by the band of the Barbados Regiment, the drums of the Barbados Regiment, and the officers are going to adopt their positions in front of their respective guards. There goes the band and drums of the Barbados Regiment, led by Drum Major Rodney Beckles, dressed in the spectacular squad uniform. Drum Major Beckles is now moving into the center of the mass bands to assume his position as the senior drum major on parade. The parade adjutant, Captain Randy Strawn, is now about to hand the parade over to the parade second in command, Major Owen Springer. This is the second Troop in the Color Parade that Captain Strawn has been on. He has been associated with the Barbados Regiment since 1967 and was commissioned in 1976. After the regiment was disbanded in 1979, he was recommissioned into the new Barbados Regiment, which became the reserve element of the Barbados Defense Force. Major Springer will assume command of the parade, fall the officers in, and prepare to hand the parade over to the parade commander, Lieutenant Colonel Lawrence Quinton. are now going to join their guards, marching to the tune Land of the Sea and Sun by Irving Berge. At the end of the assembly, the parade second in command hands the parade over to the parade commander. Lieutenant Colonel Lawrence Quinton, parade commander and the commanding officer of the Barbados Regiment. The parade commander will assume command of the parade and prepare for the arrival of the dignitaries. First to arrive will be the Chief of Staff of the Barbados Defence Force and the Commissioner of Police. They will be followed by the Chief Justice, the Prime Minister, and then His Excellency, the Governor General.
I take this opportunity to let all persons know that tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. there will be a concert by the Jamaica Military Band. This concert will take place at King George V Park in Denver, 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. Be there to hear the Jamaica Military Band give their concert.
The parade commander prepares the parade for the arrival of the Chief of Staff of the Barbados Defence Force and the Commissioner of Police. They will be accorded the general salute.